Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to change your life in the next 30 days? I'm talking about building the kind of mental strength that makes champions rise when others fall, the kind of thinking that doesn't break under pressure, but gets sharper. You don't need to be born with it. You don't need special talent or connections. You need only one thing, the willingness to take control of your mind, because everything, your energy, your confidence, your ability to face challenges, flows from how you think. For the next 30 days, I challenge you to think like a champion, to wake up each morning with determination, to silence the voice of doubt, and to speak to yourself with courage. This isn't just a challenge, it's a transformation. If you give your mind 30 days of focus, faith, and discipline, you will begin to unlock strength you didn't know you had. This is your invitation to rise, to renew your mind, and to start living like the winner you truly are. You become what you think. This is not just a phrase. It's a spiritual law, a truth that has stood the test of time. Your thoughts have creative power. What you hold in your mind eventually takes root in your life. If you continually think weakness, you will feel weak. If you think fear, fear will find you. But if you think strength, if you think hope, if you think in terms of victory, confidence, and faith, then your life begins to follow that path. You begin to walk taller. You start approaching life with a new sense of energy, a quiet but powerful assurance deep within your spirit. So many people go through life weighed down, not by the world around them, but by the thoughts within them. They allow fear to dominate, doubt to repeat its lies, and worry to take root. But I want to remind you today, you are not a prisoner of your thoughts. You are the master of them. You have the God-given ability to change the conversation in your head. And when you do, everything else begins to shift. You must realize that the mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of negativity, discouragement, and failure, they will grow. But if you plant seeds of courage, strength, gratitude, and belief, your life will begin to blossom in ways you never imagined. Champions are not people who never have negative thoughts. They are people who recognize those thoughts and replace them. They speak truth to themselves. They think deliberately, with intention and faith, and because of that, they rise. If you want to live like a champion, you must think like one. That means choosing your thoughts every single day. Not just when things are going well, but especially when they are not. You must hold steady to thoughts of strength when you feel weak. You must choose confidence when doubt comes knocking. You must remind yourself, I was made for more. I was created to overcome. I was built to win. Those aren't just nice words, they are seeds, and when planted daily, consistently, persistently, they grow into habits, and those habits form a character that cannot be shaken. You may not control every circumstance in your life, but you do control how you think about them. And how you think will determine how you act, and how you act will shape who you become. So today, start thinking thoughts that serve you, not thoughts that sabotage you. Begin declaring your strength. Begin imagining success. Begin affirming that you are capable, that you are focused, and that your future is filled with promise, because the life you're dreaming of is already within reach. It's just waiting on you to start thinking like it's already yours. Believe it, and you will begin to become it. The mind is a muscle, and just like any muscle in the body, it must be trained daily if you want it to grow strong and resilient. You wouldn't expect to build physical strength by working out once and never going back to the gym. The same is true for your mental strength. It requires effort, consistency, and commitment, day after day. The good news is that every small action you take to strengthen your mind compounds over time. It's not about making massive leaps overnight. It's about showing up, doing the work, and building mental discipline through small, consistent victories. When you wake up and choose not to give in to fear, that's a win. When you push through self-doubt and take a step forward anyway, that's a win. When you stay calm under pressure, when you speak life to yourself instead of criticism, when you keep going even though it's hard, that's training. You're building the kind of mind that doesn't crumble when life gets heavy. You're shaping a mindset that can face adversity and still say, "I've got this." You see, strength isn't built in comfort. It's built in the moments when things feel tough and you still choose to rise. Champions aren't born with unshakable minds. They build them, day by day, challenge by challenge. They make a decision not to let emotion dictate their direction. They discipline their thoughts. They don't wait to feel motivated. They act in spite of how they feel, and that's what separates them. And here's the powerful truth. You can do the same. Every day you have the opportunity to train your mind. You can train it to focus on gratitude instead of worry. You can train it to stay positive even when circumstances aren't. You can train it to believe in yourself even when others don't. You do it by repeating truth to yourself, by guarding what you let into your thoughts, and by acting with intention. Just like a muscle, the more you use your mental strength, the more it grows. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions. Start right where you are. Take one moment today and turn it into a mental workout. Choose to speak strength instead of weakness. Choose to do the hard thing instead of the easy one. Choose to finish what you started, even when your mind tells you to quit. That's how you win, not all at once, but moment by moment. And over time, you'll notice the difference. You'll stand taller. You'll think clearer. You'll stop being ruled by fear and start being fueled by purpose. Because mental strength isn't about pretending everything is easy. It's about becoming the kind of person who grows stronger, no matter what life throws at you. Train your mind daily, build your strength intentionally, and one day you'll look back and realize you've become unshakable. Champions aren't fearless. That's a myth we must break. They feel fear just like anyone else. They face uncertainty, pressure, and the unknown. But what makes them different is that they choose faith over fear. Again and again, they don't allow fear to take the driver's seat. Instead, they anchor themselves in belief. Belief in something greater, belief in their purpose, belief in the possibilities that exist beyond the fear. And that choice, made daily, is what gives them their power. It's not the absence of fear that defines a champion. It's the presence of faith that pushes them forward in spite of it. Fear whispers in your ear every time you're on the edge of growth. It says, "What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if it all goes wrong?" And in those moments, you have a decision to make. Will you agree with fear, or will you stand with faith? Faith doesn't always come with loud shouts or instant confidence. Sometimes it comes with a quiet whisper inside your heart that says, "Even if I'm scared, I will still move forward. I believe there's more for me than this moment of doubt." Every day is an opportunity to choose belief. You don't have to wait until the fear disappears. You don't have to wait until you feel fully ready. Faith is the courage to move. even when everything inside you wants to stay still. It's the strength to say, I don't know what will happen, but I trust that I'll handle it. I trust that I'm not walking alone. I trust that what's ahead of me is greater than what I'm afraid of. When you feed your faith, your fear begins to shrink. What you focus on grows. If you focus on fear, it multiplies. But when you speak words of faith, when you surround yourself with voices that uplift, when you remind yourself of all the times you made it through, your confidence builds. You start to see obstacles not as stop signs, but as opportunities to grow. You stop letting fear define your future and start letting faith shape your path. The truth is, your greatest potential lies on the other side of fear. And you'll never reach it if you allow fear to keep the final word. So, speak faith when you wake up. Speak it before every meeting, every challenge, every dream you pursue. Say, I believe I can. I believe something good is coming. I believe I have what it takes. Keep saying it until your mind begins to believe it, because faith isn't just a feeling. It's a habit, a daily choice, a mindset. And when faith becomes your response to fear, you become unstoppable. You walk with peace even in pressure. You think with clarity even in chaos, and you rise with power again and again because your belief is bigger than your fear. The way you start your morning shapes the rest of your day. It sets the tone, the energy, and the direction of your thoughts and actions. That's why it's absolutely vital to begin each day with purpose, with clarity, and with power. One of the most effective ways to do this is by using morning affirmations, spoken declarations of who you are and who you are becoming. When you say, I am strong, I am focused, I am victorious, you are not just speaking words. You are programming your mind, shaping your inner dialogue, and aligning yourself with the energy of success. Most people begin their day in a rush, overwhelmed by tasks and pulled in all directions before they even get a chance to think. But champions start their day by grounding themselves. They take a moment, even just a few minutes, to remind themselves of their strength. They don't leave their mindset up to chance. They create it intentionally. That's what affirmations do. They cut through the noise and remind you of the truth that you are capable, you are prepared, and you are not alone. When you repeat affirmations each morning, you're doing more than just speaking. You're training your mind. You're building mental pathways that align with confidence and clarity. You're choosing your thoughts instead of letting the day choose them for you. And the more you do this, the stronger your inner rhythm becomes. Your mind begins to default to strength instead of weakness, to peace instead of panic, to belief instead of doubt. Repetition is the key. Once isn't enough. Just like building a muscle, building mental strength through affirmations requires consistency. Say them out loud. Say them with feeling. Say them when you believe them, and especially when you don't. Because over time, your subconscious mind begins to accept those words as truth. It begins to respond. Your actions begin to follow your words. Your energy begins to match your declarations, and your life begins to reflect the power you're speaking every morning. Some days it will feel automatic. Other days you'll have to fight for those words, but do it anyway. Say, I am focused, even when distractions pull at you. Say, I am strong, even when you feel tired. Say, I am victorious, even when you're facing a challenge. These aren't lies. These are truths you are choosing to believe, truths you are stepping into, truths that are already inside you waiting to be claimed. Make it your daily ritual. Before the world rushes in, before the noise takes over, take a stand. Speak life, speak hope, speak power, because when you start the day with affirmations, you take control of your mindset. You build a rhythm of truth, and that rhythm will carry you through the hardest moments, fuel your momentum, and remind you every single day that you are built to win. The most powerful conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. It happens quietly, constantly, and often without notice. Yet this inner dialogue determines how you feel, how you act, and ultimately who you become. If your self-talk is filled with doubt, criticism, and defeat, your life will reflect that. But when you begin to speak to yourself with encouragement, belief, and strength, everything starts to shift. Champions understand this. They know that mental toughness starts with mastering the voice inside. They don't let negative thoughts run wild. They correct them. They challenge them. They speak life when the mind wants to spiral into fear. That voice inside you can either lift you or limit you. The words you repeat in your mind over and over again become your internal soundtrack. If that soundtrack is filled with "I can't," "I'm not good enough," "what if I fail," then you'll live small. You'll play it safe. But when you replace "I can't" with "I can" and "I will," something awakens in you. Your brain starts to believe it. Your heart begins to follow, and your actions start to reflect a person who is not afraid to go after what they want. You don't have to be perfect to speak powerfully to yourself. You just have to be intentional. Start catching the negative thoughts when they show up. Don't ignore them, interrupt them, replace them. Speak something new. If you think "I always mess up," say instead, "I learn from every mistake and I get better every time." If you hear "I'm too far behind," respond with, "I'm exactly where I need to be to grow stronger today." The goal is not to lie to yourself, it's to tell a better truth. A truth rooted in possibility, growth, and faith. Champions don't wait for someone else to encourage them. They encourage themselves. They speak what they need to hear. When pressure rises, they don't crumble. They coach themselves through it. They remind themselves of their strength. They repeat words that align with victory, not defeat. And you can do the same. Your inner dialogue is yours to shape. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the author of them. Begin each day by planting the right words. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. With kindness, with belief, with patience. Say, "I am capable." Say, "I am getting stronger." Say, "No matter what comes, I will face it with courage." Do it until it becomes your new default setting. Until positivity and strength are no longer forced. They're natural. Remember, your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. So train your thoughts to be strong, resilient, and empowering. Because when your inner dialogue is full of faith and determination, nothing can stop you for long. You become your own source of motivation, your own well of strength, and with that kind of mindset, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Adversity is not the enemy. It is the gym where your soul becomes strong. Every trial you face, every setback, every disappointment, every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger on the inside. Just like lifting weights tears the muscles so they can rebuild stronger, adversity stretches you, challenges you, and demands more of you than you thought you had. And in that process, something powerful happens. You develop mental toughness, you gain spiritual strength, you become more focused, more resilient, more determined. It doesn't always feel good in the moment, but it always leaves you better if you face it with the right mindset. When life gets hard, most people ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But champions ask, "What is this teaching me? How can this shape me? What strength is being formed in me right now?" That shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of feeling like a victim of the challenge, you become a student of the experience. You start to see difficulty as training, not punishment. You realize that every mountain you climb makes you stronger for the next one. Every storm you endure prepares you for greater victories, and every moment of pain becomes a stepping stone to purpose. If you choose to grow through it instead of give up in it, you see, adversity strips away what is easy and comfortable and reveals who you truly are. It pushes you to discover strength you didn't know was there. It forces you to dig deep, to fight harder, to lean on faith, and to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to stop. That's not weakness. That's power being built in silence. That's your soul getting stronger with every step you take through the fire. And when you come out on the other side, you will not be the same. You will be wiser. You will be braver. You will be unshakable. Don't curse the challenge, embrace it. Don't run from the pain, use it. Let it teach you. Let it refine you. Let it build your patience, stretch your endurance, deepen your character. Every champion you've ever admired has walked through something hard. They didn't become great in spite of adversity. They became great because of it. They trained in the same spiritual gym you're in right now, and they kept showing up, kept lifting the weight of their struggles, kept pressing forward when nothing made sense. That's how they became strong. That's how they rose. You're not alone in your struggle, and you're not stuck. You are in training, and with every step, your spiritual muscles are growing. So face your adversity with boldness. Know that it is working for you, not against you. Know that on the other side of this pain is a version of you that is more powerful than ever before. Welcome the trial, embrace the lesson, and rise from it with fire in your spirit. Because you were made for this. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you possess, and when you use it intentionally, it can unlock incredible strength within you. One of the most effective habits of mentally strong people and true champions is the practice of visualizing victory every single day. Before the battle begins, before the goal is reached, before the success is visible to anyone else, they see it in their mind. They imagine themselves winning. They picture the outcome they desire. They mentally step into the future they're working toward. And the amazing thing is this: your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. It reacts the same. It builds the same neural pathways, creates the same emotional responses, and lays the foundation for belief, confidence, and performance. When you begin to visualize success, you are planting seeds of victory in your subconscious mind. You're telling yourself what's possible. You're focusing not on fear or failure, but on the result you desire. This simple daily act shifts your energy. It changes how you speak, how you move, and how you respond to challenges. Because if you've already seen yourself overcoming in your mind, then when adversity comes, you meet it with calm, with confidence, and with clarity. Picture yourself walking into that room and owning it. Picture yourself handling pressure with grace. Picture the breakthrough, the achievement, the moment where your preparation meets opportunity. Let your mind experience the win before it ever arrives. Feel the emotions of success. Feel the power, the peace, the purpose that comes with it. Let that image drive your actions, fuel your choices, and give you the strength to persist when things get hard. Visualization is not daydreaming, it's training. Champions know this. They close their eyes before the game and see the outcome they want. They rehearse their victory until it becomes a mental habit. And when the moment comes in real life, their mind is already prepared. They've already lived it in their thoughts. And so they walk into it with boldness. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just visualize the next step. See yourself succeeding today. See yourself showing up with strength and grace, and tomorrow do it again. Repetition creates belief. Belief creates behavior, and behavior creates results. Your vision is your power. What you hold in your imagination consistently, your life begins to reflect. So stop seeing yourself as less than. Stop replaying your past failures. Start seeing the winner inside you. Start imagining the possibility. Speak to your mind in pictures of triumph, and as you do, you'll begin to walk, talk, and live like the victorious person you already are. See it, believe it, and soon you will become it. What you allow into your mind, what you read, what you hear, what you watch, shapes your inner world more than you realize. Every day your environment is speaking to you. It's planting seeds in your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions. That's why it is absolutely essential to guard your mental inputs with purpose and discipline. Champions know that the battle for mental strength isn't just about what you think. It's about what you allow to influence how you think. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, doubt, fear, and gossip, then don't be surprised when those things start to take root in your life. Your environment becomes your energy, and your energy becomes your direction. If you want to think like a champion, you must surround yourself with messages that support your growth. Read books that inspire you. Listen to voices that lift you. Watch content that teaches you, challenges you, builds you. Every word you hear and every image you see carries a frequency, and that frequency either pulls you up or drags you down. You cannot fill your mind with low energy and expect high performance. You cannot surround yourself with people who settle and expect to rise. You cannot feast on fear-based content and expect to live with peace and purpose. This doesn't mean you ignore the realities of life. It means you choose your focus. You become intentional with your time and attention. You say no to distractions and yes to what feeds your spirit. You protect your mental space like a garden. You pull the weeds of toxic influences and plant the seeds of wisdom, faith, and clarity. And over time, that garden grows. Your thoughts become clearer. Your attitude becomes more positive. Your responses become more grounded and centered. Champions are not only strong in action, they are strong in discipline. They know that guarding their input is not just a preference, it's a necessity. If you spend all day scrolling through negativity, comparing yourself to others, or consuming noise that stirs up anxiety, your mind begins to live in that environment. But if you start your day with truth, with gratitude, with messages that remind you of your purpose and power, then you begin to shape an inner world that is unshakable. You always have a choice. You can choose what you let in. Choose peace over panic. Choose truth over drama. Choose growth over entertainment. Choose voices that remind you of who you are and who you are becoming. Your mental diet is just as important as your physical one. What you feed your mind, you feel in your spirit. So today, begin to filter your inputs. Clean out what no longer serves you. Replace it with things that build you up. Surround yourself with positive, empowering, and forward, moving content. Because the more you protect your mind, the more powerful your life becomes. What goes in will always come out. So make sure it's filled with light, with strength, and with purpose. The mindset of a champion is not rooted in complaints or comparisons. It's rooted in gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite habit or a soft emotion. It is a force. It's a daily decision to focus on what's good, what's right, and what's working. When you practice gratitude, you reprogram your brain to see possibilities instead of problems, to notice blessings instead of burdens, to find strength even in struggle. It doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you decide where to put your attention. And your attention is your power. Champions understand that gratitude shifts energy. When you wake up and choose to be thankful for your breath, for your opportunities, for your lessons, for your growth, you begin your day from a place of abundance rather than lack. That shift creates peace, confidence, and mental clarity. You are no longer chasing happiness. You are standing in it, and from that position, you make stronger decisions. You attract better energy. You move with calm strength because you are no longer focused on what's missing. You are focused on what's already working in your favor. When you focus on what you don't have, you create a pattern of scarcity. Your thoughts revolve around what's lacking, what's unfair, what isn't going right. That kind of mindset creates anxiety, stress, and even bitterness. But when you turn your thoughts toward gratitude, your brain starts to light up with positivity. Your heart opens, your energy rises, you begin to see solutions instead of limitations. You become more patient, more focused, more creative. You begin to recognize that every day offers something valuable if you're willing to look for it. It doesn't take long. Just a few minutes each day to focus on what you're grateful for can begin to shift your entire mental atmosphere. Say it out loud, write it down, whisper it in your thoughts. I'm thankful for the strength I have today. I'm thankful for another chance to grow. I'm thankful for the people who believe in me. I'm thankful for what I've already overcome. Let those words fill your mind and your spirit. Speak them until they become your inner rhythm. Gratitude isn't reserved for perfect moments. In fact, it's most powerful in difficult ones. When things aren't going your way, when you feel pressure, when life is testing you, that's when gratitude becomes your anchor. That's when it grounds you and reminds you that there's still something good here. There's still a reason to keep going. There's still progress being made, even if you can't see it yet. And when you pair gratitude with positivity, your mind becomes a fortress. You stop reacting to life with fear and start responding with faith. You stop waiting for joy to arrive and start creating it from within. That's what champions do. They dwell not on the problem, but on the potential. They live in a state of thanks, and from that state they build powerful, peaceful, and purposeful lives. Gratitude is not just a habit. It's a way of thinking that changes everything. Progress doesn't come from giant leaps taken once in a while. It comes from small, steady steps taken every single day. That's where the real power lies. One step may not seem like much in the moment, but it carries momentum. And momentum, when nurtured daily, becomes unstoppable. The truth is, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep moving. No matter how small the action, if it's aligned with your growth, your purpose, your higher self, then it matters. It counts because consistency creates transformation, not perfection. Champions are not made in a day. They are made through the accumulation of days. Days when they showed up even when they didn't feel like it. Days when they didn't see results but kept going anyway. Days when the only thing they accomplished was taking one more step. And that step made all the difference. You see, the power of forward movement is that it keeps your spirit engaged. It reminds your mind and heart that you are still in the fight, that you haven't given up, that you believe in what you're building, even if the world doesn't see it yet. There will be days when you're tired, days when you're discouraged, days when progress feels invisible. That's when the practice of taking just one step becomes a lifeline. On those days, don't try to do everything. Don't try to conquer the whole mountain. Just do the next right thing. Maybe it's reading one page. Maybe it's speaking one affirmation. Maybe it's sending one email, doing one workout, praying one prayer. Whatever it is, take that step, and then tomorrow take another. This daily discipline, this habit of action, builds something deeper than success. It builds character. It creates trust in yourself. You start to believe, if I could show up today, I can show up tomorrow. And that self-trust is what carries you through storms. It becomes your foundation. Even when motivation fades, even when emotions fluctuate, your discipline remains, because now it's a lifestyle. Now it's a mindset. You're not waiting for the perfect moment. You're creating progress in the present one. Too many people wait. They wait for the right mood, the right time, the right amount of confidence. But the truth is, the step comes first, and the strength follows. You grow into confidence by moving forward without it. You grow into success by taking small actions when no one's watching. That's where transformation happens, in the quiet, in the consistent, in the unseen effort that compounds over time. So don't underestimate your small steps. Don't talk yourself out of the power of showing up. That one action today might not change everything immediately, but it changes you, and that's where everything begins. You don't need a perfect plan. You need movement. You need faith. You need the courage to say, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm on my way. And with that kind of consistency, your breakthrough is only a matter of time. Believe with all your heart, act with unshakable faith, and walk forward knowing that with God's power within you, there is no limit to what you can overcome, because you were born not just to survive, but to triumph.